All right, what's up, guys? This is Sean from the Route 9 Production Podcast. Just to give you a heads up with this video for this week, we did have a small technical error about halfway through the recording of the video. Your video on screen will freeze, but the audio will keep going. So don't worry, you're still going to get the full experience of all of our beautiful voices coming at you through the power of the internet. You just won't be able to see our faces move. So don't freak out, don't panic. It's not a technical issue on your part. There's nothing wrong with YouTube. There's nothing wrong with your computer. This was on our end. Unfortunately, the way that we record the podcast, these are just some things that are going to happen from time to time. Obviously, if we have a major foul-up where you can't hear what we're talking about, which is the point of the podcast to begin with, then we'll have some editing and we'll maybe do like a re-recording or something like that. But for now, please enjoy the rest of the podcast. Like I said, you'll still get to hear everything that we talked about. None of the audio is cut, just the freezing of the video. So anyway, enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Route 9 Productions podcast number 5. This week I am joined by
Tyler,
Chris,
I'm Brad.
And I'm Sean. Scott is not going to be with us this week. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite feeling well enough to do the podcast, but he is excited to be back possibly next week. And we want to try and provide as many angles and opinions on these topics that we're talking about because obviously not too many people don't want it to get too crowded in here or too many people talking at once and giving opinions, but at least a broad spectrum so that anyone who's watching can maybe relate to someone else who's talking at any given moment. Like, yeah, man, I agree with that, or fuck that dude, he's stupid. But today, you get me and Chris and Tyler and Brad, and I think we're still going to do a pretty good damn job of it. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. The first thing we're going to roll out is Star Citizen lost another part of their development staff today in the form of
the Star Marine guy.
Yeah, Alex Mayberry, who was an executive producer for the title. And he's one of 3, I guess, recently that's been kind of... Well, it doesn't say what capacity he left, did it, in the article? It didn't say he was jumping to another...
No, it just says that he left.
He's no longer there with them.
Yeah. It doesn't say that he went anywhere.
Now the other 2 were definitely poached. It sounds like one went to Blizzard and another one went to
Blizzard.
They both went to Blizzard.
They both went to Blizzard. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to know what Blizzard's taking them for. I mean, do they think that we'll think that they're doing something innovative and creative if they take away the EPs from a kind of new style of game?
Yeah, and it depends on what capacity these people work for the company, right? Like what they were in charge of developing. Because isn't it rumored that Blizzard has like a new FPS coming or something?
Kinda. They've been working on a game for, I feel like, forever now. Mm-hmm. But it is a first-person shooter style game.
And that's kind of new for them, right? Because they have RTS,
they
have the MMO, they have Hearthstone, if you can call that different. They have
Blizzard. Yeah, Hearthstone is that Blizzard tabletop, and then they have Heroes of the Storm getting into
like
the MOBA.
Well, and they had Warcraft. None of those games. Yeah, like you said, RTS. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so
no first-person shooters.
I mean, I thought I had heard that they were that they had one in development.
I've heard it
up their sleeve,
but I haven't heard much about it.
Right.
I mean.
So I guess what we would want to consider is this guy's impact on the game as far as not being there anymore. Like, this guy was an executive producer, which we all looked up before the podcast to see, like, what does an executive producer do for a video game? Turns out that the example that Wikipedia had was Jay-Z being an executive producer for, like, NBA Live 2K15, and his involvement was selecting music for the game and basically them running, hey, Jay-Z, does this look cool? And him going, yeah, man, that's cool. I like it. That's cool. Basically,
that's not going to be one of my 99 problems.
Yeah, I might not. That's right. That is not one of my 99 problems. But yeah, so it sounds like this guy, and the article even says, like, whenever people at Star Citizen were reached for an interview, and Tyler was like, is this kind of digging on this dude? But the article in quotes says, will have no impact on development. So that's kind of, to me, it was like, if I worked on a video game for years or however long this guy was there.
And then your company says you didn't have an
Yeah,
impact.
his departure leaves no impact whatsoever. It's kind of like, oh my nuts.
Yeah.
God. Oh.
Just got beanbagged.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can see it from their standpoint, is where it's like, if this makes the news and someone like Brad is really heavily anticipating this game and its full version, I'm looking forward to it. Just because, I mean, I haven't bought into it yet because I'm kind of waiting for the full experience to be available. But
Yeah.
if I'm reading that, I'm going, oh, that's concerning, man. They're losing people left and right. But it's just a thing now, right? This is just commonplace in the industry.
Yeah, that's what I believe anyway. It's only because they're like doing an open development that you hear about it.
Right.
How many people leave other developers that are developing games, and you just don't hear about it because it's all top secret, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you could explain open development just a little bit for people that don't know what it means.
Well, open development is basically they don't hold anything back. This is what we're doing, this is what we're going to do, this is our goal, and if you want to ask a question, get on our forum and ask, and we will do our best to answer it. In my opinion, that's the best way to describe it. There's just basically no secrets.
Right.
They're not trying to compete against another developer.
Yeah.
And trying to hide stuff to say, like, this is what we're, like, so they can't steal it. It's just basically, this is what we're doing. Here you go. You want to know about it, ask us.
Right, so everything's out in the open, available for the public
Yeah.
to go check out. They're interested in how the game's coming along, what kind of progress has been made. It's free to go out there and check out, whereas opposed to a developer like, say, like a Treyarch or a Bungie or a Coalition working on a new big game. Everything's kind of done in the dungeon. Right. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing
Give you
escapes.
little snippets.
Yeah.
of
When they want
content.
to, they release something.
Or they inadvertently, but then turns out they actually planned.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, so I mean, it sounds like overall, in the grand scheme of things, for Star Citizen, at least from the developer's standpoint, they're not really worried about this affecting the game's development that much. Now,
Yeah, I don't think it would.
The FPS module being delayed, I don't know if this was a part of that. The people that they lost. If maybe they're having to restaff to make it happen now. Do you think that's possible?
It can be, but from what we've seen as this bloke in particular, as an executive producer, he doesn't really have anything to do with that, so to speak. I mean, he might be in charge of the people that are doing it, but you're not taking one of the key, the key programmer out that knows what he's written.
My question would be the other two that we read went to Blizzard, because I don't think the article says what their title was with the company.
Well, Travis Day, he's basically, he was an executive producer too as well. And the only thing I knew about Travis Day was because they're doing open development, they release stuff like videos out on YouTube that you can watch for free basically. And he just gets on there occasionally and gets interviewed, and they ask him questions, like they take like questions out of their forums that people are asking, and he'll sit there and tell you about things, and they switch it around. It's not him every time, it's different ones. And the other one that left was, I think, his wife, and she was in customer service. So there's
so really no direct involvement with development of the game.
No direct involvement. You did see it on the video sometimes. They would say like, there was like an announcement one time. I think that's the only time I've ever seen her. It was something happened with the purchases and it got overloaded or something, and they just filmed her talking about it real quick and assured people.
Right.
That was it. That was.
Okay.
So, yeah, nothing really.
Nothing to be worried about.
So you can replace, directors and customer service people and all of that without a huge impact. But like you're saying, if there's somebody who had like a critical part of the vision, or a key programmer, or software designer, software engineer, somebody that was actually vital to the core construction. It's kind of like how companies, swap out CEOs. They are a huge, they're important to the company, but at the same time, people can step in and do that role. It's not that the stuff that they've already done, it's critical to have somebody that knows exactly what they've already done.
It doesn't create like a direct impact on the product
Yeah.
that company represents initially, right?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, okay. So moving on, you guys have been dying to talk about this topic. I know. Ark Survival Evolved, right?
Yeah.
The full title.
The full
Good.
title.
At least I know it. I don't play it, but I know what the title is.
Yeah. They got a pretty cool YouTube video.
Yeah.
Promoting it. It looks really nice.
I've watched videos of the game, and it looks really good. You know.
It does. Its graphics are better than the other survival games currently on the market, especially if you, and it's not hard for your computer to like run it on high or ultra. My like $800, $900 microform can do it okay. So
Right on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not too intensive.
Brad,
compared to like a Rust game where it
Right.
looks like shit and it still taxes your computer
Right.
like a crazy amount.
Just fighting to keep up.
yeah.
And I think the world, as far as Ark, is bigger than the world in Rust. So it's actually, the code I think is probably more efficient.
Well, and there's more stuff on the world too.
Right.
Like whereas Rust is smaller, and there are fewer trees and fewer rocks and little to no animals.
Yeah.
On Ark, you have like literally to the point to where just at like dawn, like it's not night outside. If you're not under the trees, it's still kind of daylight. But if you go too far into the forest, it's pitch black because no sunlight gets through.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
And
dense forest.
The moon actually has good lighting effects.
Yeah,
it's all really
Like
nice.
the oceans are huge. There's caves
Yeah.
far out into the water. There's crazy water animals far on the water that you
Underwater oil
that you can tame.
formations.
Like, and there is an abundance of animals.
Yeah.
Like,
Very
and
mean
massive,
sometimes.
massive animals. Not just like a little wolf here and there or a little deer.
They shake the ground. Like the game actually shakes if like a Stegosaurus or a T-Rex is,
They have
Close to-
brontosaurs.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
brontosaurs.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
they shake.
I spawned in for the first time yesterday, and the first thing that I seen was just this massive brontosaurus thing. It was just huge. I just looked at it and went, "Oh, I'm fucked."
Was
Yeah.
the
And it
game
just
like
ran away.
bum 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 bum?
I did play that the first time I loaded in. When me and Chris were loading in for the first time, I had to pull up the YouTube video of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it was just like an impulsive purchase. I was like, yeah, I might get it. So I was like, good game, blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna get it. Fuck it. I don't know if I'd.
No, last Tuesday we
Yeah.
talked about it barely,
Oh, right? Yeah.
and then we played it,
Yeah. I was
Tuesday
like,
night.
Oh, I have work tomorrow, but fuck it.
and now we have devoted many, many hours
Yeah.
already.
I think I have like 50 something hours clocked on it.
It's addicting
Yeah,
because you
it's-
get hooked to it in more than just like I need to keep up, or
Right.
else I need to keep improving the base, or else we're gonna get raided.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I
I'll stay
have to
up
make
late to
sure
make a
that my
stone.
dinosaur has enough food to survive one more day. I can't just not log on.
I know. You get emotionally attached to your dinosaurs in the game because you take care of them and they help you out, and it's like you're actually sad. It's like you've lost an actual
Well,
pet when
yeah.
they die.
Yeah, Annie I had since Wednesday.
I know. That
I
was
got-
sad for me.
From level 2 to 28 takes a lot of time, and then one wrong move.
Right. It's like game over.
yeah, attacking the Stegosaurus.
Fucked.
I warned you about the Stegosaurs though and what they're capable of.
You did.
So,
They're powerful.
Yeah, they got that tail swipe. It's brutal.
Brad, when did you get the game?
Last night.
And what's your experience so far with it?
Well, I'm only like level 6. Basically, all I've done is got myself some clothes and an axe and a pick and
I just let my dick hang out in the game, honestly.
you know,
That's
and
how I do.
built myself a little hut and then went to bed last night. Got up this morning, done what I do, and then hopped on, and then I'm dead.
Well, that's because you made a crappy little
Yeah,
hut.
everything's gone. Like I thought I did really well last night. It took me a bit to understand exactly,
Yeah, it takes a second to get used to.
like how to craft shit and all that kind of stuff. It took a, especially because no one was there to tell me. I just did it all myself.
Yeah.
And once I got over that bit, I actually think that was the longest part for me, was just like understanding how to craft shit. And then once I learned how to craft shit and where to get the stuff from, it was easy. Like, I was on there today for 45 minutes, and I was like already had gotten like I said, I spawned in dead, so I've already fixed all my shit back up. I've already got all my shit back up. Like, I've already gathered what I need to do. I've already gone off and killed some shit to have some food, which I'm guessing when I come back is going to be gone anyway. But
we'll give you some food, bro.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We
But
have
no,
many
it
foods.
seems-
seems pretty good. Like, I didn't buy into all these other ones, these other survivals, but it does seem pretty interesting. Like, I could see myself playing it for a while.
It's got a different
is-
element to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things you can do, you know, other than just defend or attack.
Yeah. Let me ask
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
what-
no, I understand that, but that's just where I am now. That's what I've got to do. I've just got to
No,
level
no.
myself up to get a bit better, and I can craft better stuff. Because, like I said, at the moment I'm crafting a house that you can break down in 5 minutes. Well, it's relatively useless, isn't it? You know.
Spam wood foundations, bro.
Yeah.
Learn how to make wood foundations and just build them and build them and build them.
Yeah. For those of
It's
you
the
watching
easiest way to level.
that do play Ark, I discovered that if you build a wood foundation, right, it gives you like a 9+ experience, which is substantial. What you can actually do is you can take 2 wood foundations, place them on top of each other, and it'll break one of them and give you half of the resources back. If you actually, do some calc here and find the limit, what happens is, suppose you farm 120 something wood foundations, right? You actually are going to get the 9 something experience for those 120 plus another 120. If you look at getting half the resources back every time for those 120, so you get the 60, you get the 30, you get the 15, you get the 7.5, and so on. You can level up really quickly that way. I mean, I've gotten over a level an hour. I'm 54, which, would normally take a lot longer. But let me ask you, Brad, what got you into this game? You're obviously wary of other survival games, and for good reason, given our experience. But what got you into this one that made it different than those other ones?
Well, it was last night. I was actually sitting there doing sweet fuck all, and I was just screwing around on YouTube, and it came up. I thought, I like to look at other games and stuff, so I just clicked on it. And the first thing there was just straight away I looked at the graphics of it. I thought, fuck, that doesn't look too bad.
Right.
And then I watched these dudes that were just screwing around, and they were hunting for some artifact or something. And I thought, so it's just not building a hut and defending it. There is a bit of an objective somewhere along the line.
Yeah, there's some PvE to it.
Yeah. There are there's like a dragon boss and like a giant spider boss. You got to go get the artifacts from the cave and summon them. Not exactly
that's
sure
what
how that
that's
works
what they were
yet.
doing, was going down. They were on a cliffside somewhere, and they were going down and into this cave and finding this artifact. And I just watched it. Went for about 40 minutes, and I actually watched the whole thing. And when I got to the end, I had Steam open, and just as I got to the end, my cousin got online, and the first thing that pops up, it says, blah, blah, is playing Ark. And I was like, oh, god damn it. And then just thought about it, and then just went, all right, screw it, I'm going to do it. And then just downloaded it 2 hours later, because I actually thought it was 20 gigs worth of download, but it's actually 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 2 hours later, I started playing it, and
it is.
off we went.
It's got a really interesting the dinosaur mechanic. Their like intelligence is actually pretty good. It's not a random AI wherein they don't do anything. The dinosaurs do fight each other and they go about their business. If they're herbivores, they're over here like trying to get some berries. If they're carnivores, they're over here trying to find something to eat.
Raptors are always attacking other dinosaurs.
Yeah, raptors are just constantly on, just trying to mount some other dinosaur. There was I was going to get metal from this mountain, and I was riding my raptor named Timur. And Timur, yeah, from South Park. But a saber-toothed tiger started chasing me, and I was like, I don't know if Timmy can win this fight. So I was just hauling ass out of there, right? And he's pretty fast because he's a raptor. Well, as I'm running away, you know, I can kind of, it puts you in third person when you get on your mount. You can switch it to first person. But as I'm running away, I'm seeing the saber-tooth tiger, which is also really quick, chasing me. And as I'm running and he's following me, a T-Rex swoops in from the side and just eats the saber-tooth tiger. And then decides he is now still hungry and would like to eat me as well. So I'm over here like bobbing and weaving through trees as the T-Rex is chasing me. I'm just like super scared, and I'm like jumping over cliffs thinking surely he's not going to follow me. And like, you know, he just so quick, he just runs around and somehow gets down the cliff. And it took me a while to escape him. I basically got out to the damn ocean before he finally gave up and decided there are easier food sources. But, you know, they do have just great intelligence in terms of the dinosaur programming. I mean, what they actually do.
For how long the game's been out, I'm very impressed with how well it runs.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have some lag issues here and
Right.
there.
It's not, it's not to say it's without.
But it's nothing greater than what I've experienced with other survival games to this day.
Yeah, we thought there was a glitch where dinosaurs would disappear from our dinosaur pen, which is part of what you kind of build. But what it turns out is happening is some motherfuckers are coming down with pterodactyls and snatching up our easy-to-carry dinosaurs and then tossing them into the ocean. So we're going to find you guys at some point if you're ever watching this. And I'm going to smash down your base with my T-Rex headbutts. So just be ready for that. We're not happy about you killing Timmer.
Do you guys think that this is kind of the first legitimate survival game?
That's what it is.
Absolutely. It really is.
Yeah, we were talking about how like a survival game would hit it big if they could just actually get past that early access stage. And as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, like this one is actually set with a release date about a year from now. So you can think of it as like as a beta stage game right now, like a late beta or something. There are some glitches, there are some issues, but they're not game breaking. Like the game is actually developed. And they do come out with new content on a regular basis. I do think that they're going to capture the market.
Yeah, because the whole thing about Ark is it captures everybody. Like the forest is mainly PvE. There's really no PvP in it. Honestly, you're kind of just there, and you almost have to load in on private servers a lot of the time just to load in with your friends because their servers are so shitty. So you're really just doing a single player experience against the tribal people of the island.
Right,
so you're basically only getting PvE from the forest. Rust is strictly PvP.
Yeah.
You build a base, you reinforce it as much as possible, pray to God you don't get raided, and you raid other people. And that's basically what Reign of Kings was as well. Like there was some semi PvE elements, as in, you know, you can drag someone by a rope and decapitate them, or
Yeah, you can do that in
you
Ark
can
too.
hang 'em,
You can drag bodies and stuff.
yeah, you can't actually drag bodies. You can pick them up with your pterodactyl and drop them from a mile up in the air.
Yep.
But in this game, you have the raiding element. You can raid with your dinosaurs, so you have the PvP.
You have to fend off your base from enemy dinosaurs
yeah,
too. That's
and
really important.
that's where the PvE element comes in. There's numerous caves around the island.
What's the bigger threat?
Dinosaurs.
I would,
At the moment,
yeah, I was
we
going to
ha-
say,
I
we
don't-
live in a kind of area that's, we found this neat spot in a forest clearing that is kind of at a section of the map that there's not a lot of at higher level people in. I think if we were in a different area that could easily shift to being a higher PvP threat. But we've also been nice to people, you know, and because that's different, because usually we're kind of assholes, but that's usually in response, you know. We're not just initially assholes. It's, you know, we get shot enough times in Rust and you're going to be angry and you're going to take that out on other
Anybody.
people. Yeah. So
this game we really haven't been fucked with.
Yeah.
So we've
except for the stealing of the raptors, but we don't know who did that.
yeah, but to me,
Could've-
it seems like in this game, due to people's, and it sounds weird to say, but attachment to their dinosaurs and stuff like that, there seems to be an element to where there's a little bit more respect when it comes
They're
to
civilized.
fucking
Yeah.
over other people's stuff. Because like a T-Rex takes an hour to tame. I mean, to multiple hours, depending on
Yeah.
whether or not you get multiple prime meats, which and stuff like that. So you spend a lot of time just in taming dinosaurs, not only building a base and farming them, but then you have to individually level every dinosaur that you have tamed. And so
it can be a process.
to me, I actually haven't. Everyone I've come across seems very timid, and they really don't want to piss you off because they don't really want to lose their dinosaurs in retaliation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, unless you're the shit, the biggest shit on the server, you know, and you're not really too worried about it. Like, you have the biggest, baddest base, and you know nobody's probably really gonna fuck with
turrets
you
on top of your base.
Yeah,
just,
so
you know, shooting down pterodactyls that come too close.
it's not like Rust where you can spend hours building a metal base, you know, fully decked out, as secure as you can make it, and then log in the very next day and it's gone.
Right.
No, somebody could remove our base if they had enough materials and wanted to.
Stop
It's
talking. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, it just wouldn't be...
You just gave him fucking permission.
No, I'm just going to tell them right now. It wouldn't be in their best interest. We don't have that
do
much.
that.
Because we've spent almost all of our material either leveling or, you know, adding on into the base. So it's not like they'd get a lot out of it. We just don't have stuff worth stealing yet.
No. But it is the best survival game, to wrap it up, basically. It's the best survival game. It is as complete as any survival game has ever been released.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, the one that's the most consistently developed so far.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we
glad
mentioned
they took their time before they put it out there.
Yeah, we mentioned legitimacy before. I think, like, for a game like Ark, probably one of the best nods that you can get as far as how good your game is and respect in the industry is Microsoft has picked it up to release on the Xbox One.
Oh, really?
That's exciting.
Yeah. So it's going to be the first of those
Can't even
survival
imagine.
games to be on
Yeah.
one of the new
Well, that makes a bit of
consoles.
sense because I was going to say before, it seems it just doesn't seem like it's been written by some bloke in a basement somewhere.
Right.
Which to me,
And that's what makes it different.
I didn't play any of the other ones, but that's how it always. Just from looking at it,
Well,
I
it's
was
like-
just like,
It's like
well,
a
that's
two-man
just some-
team,
Yeah.
three-man
Yeah.
team, development team.
From looking
Straight
at the
away,
dev
this
log,
one
that's
just from playing
accurate.
it, I think that it's done really well, and I think that the people who have done it know a bit, you know, and they and like it's really coming along. And I don't know how many updates and that they've put out there so far,
I
but
think we're
there
on
was one that went up
165.
last night, and I watched the chat thing light up. Like everyone was rapt that there was an update coming last night.
Right.
You know, and the server went down for about 15 minutes while I was on there, and then I just popped back in there, and it was good as rain again, you know?
What's
Right.
been your experience with server wipes? Is that a thing in Ark?
No.
Like, I know you guys were fighting that in Rust and whatnot.
No, we have. I mean, so far we haven't had a server wipe, but we, you know, come a couple hours from now, we have only been playing for 1 week.
Oh,
Right.
I got you.
So we really
That's one
don't
time
know.
for
They may do, you know, like a monthly wipe, but I could kind of see with the dinosaur taming element and stuff like that, I could see there being a big outrage
Right.
when it comes to server
Well-
wipes, because it's not just losing the resources in the base; it's
You're
losing
losing-
hours
When-
upon hours.
Just
when
dedicated.
you talk about, like, getting, you guys are saying you have multiple types of different dinosaurs. Like, you're saying Dilos, assuming it's like Dilophosaurus,
Yeah,
the
really
spitters,
tiny spitters.
and then
Yeah.
of course the Velociraptors that you guys are riding around, and T-Rexes. Like, when you talk about Zach pumped out 2 more raptors, did he like craft those raptors? Did he
No.
make
No,
them?
they're in the
They're
world.
in the world
Yeah.
already.
Just
so you're not
imagine-
like adding assets is what my question is, to the point where it's like some guy could just sit there and create raptor after raptor
No,
after
no,
raptor
no,
and
no, no,
overload
no.
the server.
You have to knock out a raptor that's in the world.
Right.
You
Just
either have to
literally
punch.
knock 'em
You have to
out.
either
Okay.
punch them, or
I
you
thought
have
you
to
said
shoot
knocked
them.
him out like he
Trank
just
arrow.
You know, you either have to punch them so
Yeah.
many times that they go
Okay, so it
unconscious, or
was
you have to use tranquilizer
literally
arrows.
a knockout. Okay,
And
that's what I
then,
didn't understand.
Once they're on the ground, you either have to use narco berries or narcotics, which you make from narco berries.
You can also just, if you're
And
low
meat.
level, just punch them a few times. It just hurts them.
Yeah. So you have to keep them unconscious, and you have to feed them until the tame bar goes up. And the more powerful the dinosaur, the longer the taming time, or the higher the level of the dinosaur,
You
the
kind
more
of
taming
abuse them and
time.
they like you for it. It's kind of weird.
I honestly don't think that any server that they've got will be wiped because
Yeah.
they call it a persistent universe. And anything
Right.
that's a persistent universe doesn't get wiped. It re-rolls itself, like you said. You can't just add an asset to overload the system. You have to find the asset that's already in the system.
Yeah.
Here's my thinking on it is I don't see the assets in the server becoming overloaded, because if you think about it, okay, so like the bases you have are insubstantial. Like any base you could build is insubstantial compared to the number of assets that just naturally spawn in the world. If you consider the trees and everything, the trees and the rocks that are just constantly respawning, your base in terms of the number of assets is small relative to the amount that just generates. And same thing with the dinosaurs you tame. Yeah, you could tame 20 dinosaurs. That's still insignificant compared to the overall dinosaur population. So it's like even 70 players, which is the server can hold up to 70 players at a time, even 70 players constantly going 24 hours a day, which is like what our server does basically, they don't really have a good chance of overloading the server abilities, because what we do is kind of small by comparison to what the server does inherently.
Well, and that brings it back to in Rust, one reason why they wipe all the time is because there's so many destroyed bases. There's so many abandoned structures throughout the world that at some point the server can't handle it anymore. You don't see that in Ark. You don't see base after base after base after base being abandoned, and every base that is abandoned means there's another base somewhere that they ended up making because that one got fucked.
Right.
So in Ark, there really isn't as much raiding, so there's not near as much shit just in the world due to the fact that people have to keep restarting and restarting and restarting. So that also helps it not overload the server.
I think the coding is better in Ark, like a lot better in terms of efficiency. I also think that because of the way that the base mechanism works, people can't take over bases, and they can't, put blocks there. Like we would troll people in Rust by, once we destroyed their base, we'd put, and access their cupboard and got building privilege. We could put blocks there to just make the base completely unusable for them, unless they spend a ridiculous amount of time reclaiming it. It's kind of like, it improves upon that system, because like if somebody did come into our base just with C4 and blast through it, that would suck. We would have lost, some wood and shit, a few metal, but we could easily reclaim the base. We would just rebuild that stone wall and just walk right back in, eventually.
Yeah, there's no real griefing.
Yeah, and that's good. I don't think griefing is a good... I mean, it's fun to do to other people, but sucks when it happened to us. So kind of not a great mechanic, and I think that it's better in that aspect.
Griefing provides a very hostile game.
It makes people inherently just really aggressive, because they don't know if you're the one that fucked them over, but
they don't care.
They don't care anymore,
because it's happened multiple times.
Yeah, they get angry enough, they're just kill on side everyone.
Right. Okay, I'm going to say this now on recording. By the end of the week, I will own Ark.
Good. You can replace that.
You guys have been trying to drag me into this hellhole of a genre.
Currently, me, Zach, and Chris have 2 extra raptors in our pen right now, with saddles waiting for you guys. There's no level requirement to ride a dinosaur.
One tonight.
Yeah.
Do what?
So we'll make that one. There's only one left. I'm coming to get one tonight.
There you go.
You're
You
gonna
got
ride
one,
Bruce
man.
Jenner.
I also
You can have Bruce Jenner.
We also have the best armor, and
I guess we'll have to rename it Caitlyn at some point.
yeah, Bruce Jenner isn't valid anymore. It is
I'm
Caitlyn.
going to name one Chris Jenner.
Chris Jenner? She kind of looks like a raptor anyways.
Sorry, Chris Jenner. Don't
So-
sue us.
So at
We're
least,
not worth anything.
Yeah, we're judgment proof.
at least the plan worked. Whether it was this way or not, it was like, it's like competition, kind of breeds greatness over a length of time where you start at one end of the spectrum and you end up at
Capitalism, baby.
another. Well, it's capitalism,
Take that,
but
Russia.
it's also like what we discussed on a previous podcast, where it was like each one of these games was an improved version of the incarnation before it.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though it wasn't the same developer moving forward, like each one took that concept idea and improved upon it and just made steps along the way pretty rapidly.
Yeah,
I mean, the genre
rapidly.
hasn't really existed. I mean, you can take DayZ as like the impetus of it all. Like it was kind of the granddaddy of these survival games, which was just a mod of Arma. But if you start from back then, I remember hearing things about DayZ like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, about 4-ish.
Yeah, it was when it really started kicking off. And then I don't know how long this current iteration of survival games. Like
The crafting phase of survival.
well, yeah, and I mean, I guess I'm talking about like what was it, like 7 Days to Die, and
Oh, I did see that 7 Days. That looked pretty good.
yeah, that was probably like 2 years ago. I think I saw the first video on that. That was in that genre. Of course, that was a zombie themed as well.
And I do like the zombie theme of survival games kind of is the real theme. If I didn't, if I wasn't so into Ark, I would definitely want there to be created a better zombie game. Because, like, that's what I think of. When I think of, like, survival, against this overwhelming force, I would think, like, okay, zombie apocalypse.
But initially, what it breaks down to, I think Tyler and I talked about this before. We both watch Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And big fans of the show. But what you start to realize a few seasons in is that the threat to humanity is not the zombies anymore. It's
the
humanity
humans,
itself.
yeah.
And that's kind of like where I think these developers took notice from DayZ was the core of the gameplay wasn't player versus zombies. It was player versus player. It was trying to survive the other assholes running around trying to kill you and take
Limited
your stuff.
resources.
Yeah, you're fighting over, oh, I want that can of beans. Even if you kill someone and only get a can of beans, it's worth it in that game because that means your character gets to survive,
Yeah.
So, looks like moving forward from there, they've gotten to this state where they're at now where I think the biggest issue you guys had with all those previous iterations was stability
Yeah.
and performance. And they're kind of hashing that out now. And I imagine that that's just going to continue to improve.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I know there's going to be another iteration of this genre, right? It's not going to stop at Ark.
No.
It's going to keep going, but maybe they're at a point now where this game can at least be consistent throughout its entire development cycle. And
Yeah, and I'm glad it's going to Xbox because honestly, a big problem with these survival games is what's happening is these Chinese hacking companies, and they literally are just companies. What they're doing is they're developing, exploits to the game, and then marketing and selling them to people. And because of the Steam refund system, people can just completely get away with it. There's no real cost to them. People are literally paying extra money to be able to, cheat in the game. And it's not like I don't like calling them hackers really, because it's not like they have computer skills.
it's not like they wrote the code.
Right? Yeah, they just are kind of
They're
pathetic.
cheaters.
Yeah, they're kind of pathetic. They're just buying somebody else's work to manipulate the game. So currently Ark is relatively, I think it's hacker free.
I've
really.
never seen one person in chat bitch about a hacker
Yeah.
or seeing a hacker. I've never seen one.
Right. Yeah, I think it might be too young for them to have already got their grubby little mitts
No.
on it.
I don't think
No,
so.
they're-
I think
they're
that would be
quick.
the thing that they would want. Yeah, they would want to jump all over
Yeah.
it and just ruin that new shit. That's what these people are, right? They're
But
just assholes that try to stomp
even-
on people's fun.
Even now, Rust has started to get a hold on their hacking problem.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
if Rust can now do it, then a game that has now been picked up by Microsoft, I'm pretty damn sure can do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
That's indoor securities itself, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
massive security.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's good.
Well, I think that's good for that topic. Like, I think you guys.
We've covered it.
I mean, you pulled me into it, so
I mean, we can give a brief update of our experience
Right.
later once
Here
we've
in-
gotten
in a week or
deeper
something.
into
Yeah.
like the real core aspects
Once
of like
we've all
the
gotten to
cave,
play it and
the
then
cave
we-
explorations and stuff.
we can
and-
revisit it next
Yeah.
week. And
We can show you videos of our theoretical T-Rex that we're probably going to name Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
I'm not searching for a female T-Rex forever. I'm just gonna trank the first
know,
one
I
I
will.
find.
I
I know you will, Chris. I know you will.
I have to have Anna Kendrick.
And a K all day.
Yeah.
Okay.
all day.
Moving on. Yeah, okay, so like our next topic is it's kind of going to roll right into another one as well from here just to kick things off. Bungie, today was Bungie Day. We're filming on July 7th, and that's been their anniversary that they've recognized for their company because they're all about the number 7.
Oh, yeah.
So they came out and said for year 1 Destiny players, we're going to give you this special item, right? And they kind of built it up. They charged it up for a good week. Where like, this is coming, this is happening, be excited, Destiny players. You've been waiting, blah 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 blah. It's, Bungie Day is coming, and we're gonna express our thanks to the community and give you all a special gift and blah 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 blah, and like have these events and everything. And it comes down to it, and today we find out that the special gift that all these dedicated players are getting is an emblem, which is like in game. That's nothing. Like realistically, that's like okay, I've got this picture up by my name.
And for me, it's kind of meaningless, right? All the like pre-order, spend a lot of time and you get this thing. All of that is just worthless to me in shooter games because I'm thinking, I don't care if you pre-ordered the game. I don't care if you spent 10,000 hours shooting people with Hellfire missiles. Like the emblems and rewards and character customizations that for me actually mean something are the ones that it would take just a modicum of skill to get, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you had a 30 KD ratio and you get an emblem for that. Okay, I'm going to wear that emblem. That's ballin'. And I'm going to have respect for people that I see with that emblem because I'll be like, okay, I see you.
Well, that was like
I see you.
The Halo 3 days, you earned that katana and security armor for getting every single achievement in the game. You 1,000-pointed Halo 3, you got that stuff. Which there were some achievements in Halo 3 related to multiplayer that were pretty fucking difficult to get.
Yeah.
And they were based around skill. Not everybody got that. Well, I mean, what kind of sucked was later they introduced more gamer score through the achievement system for Halo 3, which meant that you didn't have to get all the day one Halo achievements to get that sword because you just had to have, the only requirement was 1,000 gear score, right? So when they pumped out another 500 gamer score for it, you could just get that DLC gamer score, which was literally like plant a flag on this map. It was like nothing that, whereas opposed to getting 5 triple kills with the sword in so many matches and things like that, where it was like fucking hard to get because everyone was going for it. Yeah. But no, this was kind of like, to me, like I had a buddy he's on vacation with his family in Florida right now, having a great time, but his main concern was having me get on his account on Bungie Day to get whatever reward it was that they're giving. I didn't get on because he didn't tell me to, because once he saw what it was, I think he lost interest in it. But I don't know what people were thinking was going to happen, like they were going to give him a gun or an armor or a shader, which even a shader is
better than this.
Is better, yeah, in my opinion, because it actually changes the way your character looks in game. And this is literally only in a lobby. You can only see this emblem when you're waiting to go into a world. And it's, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's like it's cheap. And then they're saying like, oh, we have all these other events planned. And it's like, what? And when I find out on Bungie's website is they're having an art contest. And the winners of the art contest, the first 7 winners, again, sticking with their overall theme of 7, they get the blacksmith shader. The blacksmith shader was a pre-order bonus. I'm pretty sure it's a pre-order bonus. And then, oh, I'm sorry, like so many people are getting that. And then the winners of the contest, the 7 winners they pick, are getting the deluxe edition of the new Destiny expansion, the Taken King, when it releases in September.
Dude, if I take the time to win an art contest, I want to be like flown down and I don't know, do something.
And see, that's the thing Tyler and I were talking about, and we can roll it right into pre-order bonuses as well as, like, I think it's bullshit. I mean, to an extent,
pre-order
like
bonuses are largely.
You're asking people to believe in your game before it's even shipped. Like if I would have
pay 50% more.
Well, and if I would have pre-ordered Batman Arkham Knight on PC, and I was one of those people that it didn't work, I would be just fucking livid right now. I'd be, lighting up email boxes all the way through that company going, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how could you let this happen? I paid money ahead of time to get this game even. Mm-hmm. And trusted in your company. That's what you're saying when you give them your money up front for a product that's not even released and reviewed. Is you're saying, I trust you to give me a finished working product. Yeah. That didn't happen. And it's becoming more and more of a problem now where it's like, Yeah,
I think all the pre-orders, deluxe editions, all that stuff just, to me, is just crappy. I mean, you're paying extra money because you think about it, you're essentially, it's almost like an investment thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're, calling the game. You're putting $5 down for the ability to buy the game, which you could do anyway. It's kind of silly if you think about it. And the reward for doing so is usually just some crappy, not even really altering visual thing. Like maybe your chainsaw is like gold or something, which, okay, yeah, cool. I got
the
a
golden
gold chainsaw. Awesome.
Well, I don't like the in-game pre-order bonuses that you get from like if you go to GameStop, you'll get this gun. But if you go to, I don't know, EB Games somewhere, you'll get this one. But you can't have them both. You know what I mean? And that's stupid to me. I don't mind the, like, if you pre-order this, you'll get a statue.
You know what they should do?
You know, for
Yeah,
an
yeah.
extra $50.
Yeah, if you pre-order this, you have the right not only to buy the game, which you could do anyway, but you can also buy the statue, which you could do anyway. You know?
Yeah, I know.
They're not
but I
going to
don't
not
mind,
sell
like,
the
the
statues.
Batman one itself. I wanted to buy the Batman one. I had this massive statue and that, and that stuff I don't mind. What I don't like is that when you have to pick where you want to pre-order it for to get an
To get some sort of
in-game
bonus.
bonus. I think that if they're going to offer in-game bonuses, it should just be everything.
It should
Not
be
just
something
from one
substantial.
individual thing.
It should be substantive. Like if I was developing a game, right, and I wanted to move pre-orders or deluxe editions, you know what I'd do? Suppose it's a shooter game. I would put a new type of, so like, you got like Dominion, Capture the Flag, whatever. I would make a custom one of those for the people that either pre-ordered or got the deluxe edition, or hell, both of them, fuck it. And like to actually make some content that, for me, the consumer, I'm thinking, yeah, I'll pay $5 extra to play Super King of the Hill Deathmatch, smash people with their own skulls.
But see,
game
that's something I disagree with, because
Yeah,
that's like what Brad's talking about, where it's bonus content. Like, to me, it's just like that's the game.
It's like you're selling
Right.
everybody else an incomplete
Right.
form
Yeah,
of the
right.
game.
and that's kind of like
Yeah, that
what
would be
Destiny kind of turned into for people. Their biggest argument in the beginning of that game was, where's all this content that you promised? Like, where's all
they're
the
holding it back.
the
Yeah.
expansive universe and all this never be bored in the game? Bullshit. I've cleared the game in 8 hours and now I have nothing to do except farm these stupid little materials that, like trying to get my light level gear, which is play the game over again, basically. That's how they made that happen, was they gave the game built-in replayability
Oh, it's like
It-
by
Legacy
literally
and Call of
forcing
Duty.
you.
It's like Diablo. Beat
Yeah.
the game, and then you want better gear, you go to hell
Beat
version.
the game. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's,
I hate that.
It's the same thing. And then the other thing was with Destiny, it pissed a lot of people off was, other MMOs will run epic occurrences or instances or events in the game that you get your top tier gear from, right? And Destiny had one in the form of raids, which the first one being the Vault of Glass, the second being Crota's End, and then now this iteration of what they call a raid-like experience. Can't even call it a raid. And they dropped the player count for this activity from 6 to 3. So it's not even the same experience as it was before, where you could get like 6 of your guys together and have a big group, because everything else in Destiny was a three-person party max, which limited kind of the fun of it to me. But now that's not existent in this current expansion. But like that was the whole thing from before, was everyone was saying like, this stuff should have been part of the first game, and you just resold it to us for another $40. So
Yeah.
the game of Destiny actually costs $100.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I completely disagree. As a consumer, it makes me mad when I learn that the company has actually held back components of the
Yeah.
game that it already developed. I guess my thing is, if I was a savvy company, what I would do is just have a couple of my programmers set aside after we've pumped out everything that we initially produced, and make something for the deluxe pre-order people. Maybe give them like a golden chainsaw or something to tide them over, and then be like, you're also getting a special mode, but we're not assholes and we're not holding stuff back from the game that we sold people, so we're just going to come out with this a little bit later. Be patient.
And that's fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Offering pre-order bonuses later as paid content, that to me is okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're rewarding your pre-order people, and then you're also letting all the people that didn't get a chance, maybe I didn't know about this game until 6 months after release, but I want to play that game mode with my friends that did pre-order and
Right.
got me into the game. Pay whatever, $4.99, whatever you want to, and then you get to enjoy that experience with your friends that were
Yeah.
loyal. And then that's fine with me. But making it an exclusive pre-order bonus, that's the stuff that's bullshit. And I remember with like Batman Arkham City, they had that whole thing where it was like you pre-order and you get to the Catwoman bonus missions, right? And it's like that was part of the shipped game. That was a
Yeah.
iteration of the game that shipped. Now, what Rocksteady did that was smart was, as part of like their DLC cycle, the first one they put out was the Catwoman DLC, where for $4.99 you got that pre-order bonus of the Catwoman missions.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so basically what you're saying it boils down to is the pre-order bonus should just be to where it's almost like you're pre-ordering the bonus content
Right.
to where once it does release and the people that pre-ordered the game and then they can now download it. At that time, people then can also just purchase it if
Right.
they want to.
And it
And
makes
that's what
sense.
makes it justifiable.
It makes sense because
Right.
if you think about what is the purpose of pre-orders, the idea is to
Exactly.
stimulate the funding of the game, right? Because you're years into
It's
the
just
development.
it's to
you
guarantee
want
sales.
Yeah, you're years into development. You want to get some return. You want to guarantee the sales, and you want to have the budget necessary to make it to the finish line if you're maybe not as gigantic of a company, right? So putting off that, just giving them something like small, like visual is okay. I wish that, later you would kind of be refunded for your loyalty in the form of, not having to buy some DLC that's released after. I don't agree with DLC being held back for the purposes of, people paying more to get it. I don't
Yeah.
think that's good policy, and it reflects poorly on the company in terms of us, the user's perspective, whenever we find out about it, and it seems like we always do. Eventually.
Yeah, well, Bungie's been eating shit since that, like the first person kind of glitched their way into the expansion area. Like the first video that I saw was for the most recent expansion of Destiny, which came out in May. Somebody was in there in like the first month after the game came out. So it was clearly like part of the game that shipped. It was already there and created.
And the funny thing about that too is the people got up there and they had shaders hidden in there. And then when the DLC dropped, they took the shaders out.
Well, they were ghost shells, which is something that...
ghost shells, sorry.
Yeah, from day
sorry.
one, you got your little ghost guy, which is the little eye thing that you see that's voiced by Peter Dinklage.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that guy.
Floats you around, or floats around you and stuff. Well, in the game, in your inventory, there's a whole 10-box section called Ghost Shells. There's only been one since day one, other than the pre-order bonus one, of course, that people could have where your ghost is red. But there's 10 slots in the inventory, and up to this day, there's still no available Ghost Shell to put in there. So...
But you got the space.
Yeah, it's just in case, right?
Yeah,
it's like
buying
It's
a
going to cost you
mansion and
another
filling one room.
$5.99
Yeah.
per ghost show.
that whole thing. Just I see that in games. I'm like, something happened, and there was always speculation with Destiny from day one, where people were going back to the E3 conference, the big video that they showed, and all the cinematics and all the stuff that got promised.
It kind of tricks people into playing the game more.
Absolutely.
They're over there looking, where the fuck is the ghost shells? I
Well,
know I have 10 spaces. There gotta be 10.
We were promised
somewhere.
this massive experience, this whole new world to explore, this ever-evolving, ever-changing. That the quote from Bungie was, "Our players will never get bored." And that's what pissed me off. I was literally almost bored immediately. I remember finishing the story for the game, and my friends were in the party with me, and the closing cinematic began, and I went, "Wait, that's it?" And they were like, "Did you kill that?" Spoiler alert, if you haven't played Destiny yet. Did you kill that big black heart thing? I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "That's it." And I was like, "Seriously? This was the game, the big game I'll never get bored of?" Like, come on, man. But no, I mean, pre-orders in general, like for me, I'm not going to pre-order anything again. I think I've pretty much decided that for myself. The bonuses, take it or leave it. Most of the time it's some cosmetic thing that I don't need anyways, where I would just sit there and look at it in game, go, all right, cool.
Got a golden chainsaw.
And then I'll find something cooler, to put
you'll
on there
replace
instead.
it
That's
from
actually
achievements.
status or something. I usually like to have some kind of status on me in games when it's available, like you said, something skill wise or whatever, achievement wise related to something like that. But as far as like the whole, we were talking about pre-order stuff, but there's also that tier of the legendary or deluxe or collector's edition where you get some kind of statue or
Like you get a Spartan helmet.
an actual Lancer from Gears of War, was
Yeah.
their ultimate edition for Gears 3.
Well, if I got a Spartan helmet, I would pre-order.
Well,
that
the thing
was Halo 3.
It was a figurine.
Yeah,
If it was
I
a
know, I
Spartan
want an
helmet I
actual-
could put on,
It was the cat helmet.
then that would be worth
That
it.
was the funny thing, was after Halo 3 Legendary Edition dropped, the internet was flooded with pictures of cats wearing the helmet from Halo 3 Legendary
bet.
Edition. Because for some reason, people, when they pre-ordered, I don't know, I guess that was a snafu, the dimensions weren't really kind of like outlined for that. So everyone assumed I'm going to get my own Master Chief helmet to wear. And then when they received it in the mail, it was like this big.
Yeah.
And so they put it on their kittens.
They put it on their cats and
Well,
took pictures.
That's like my big thing is like, I got the box right up there. GTA 5.
Yeah.
Fucking, and that says collector's edition, but no, that's the legendary edition, technically.
Right. The $120 edition.
Yeah. The big edition.
Yeah.
What you get with that, like, I'm not saying that, like, I regret purchasing it. Like, I got that Los Santos hat up there. I got a GTA 5 shirt floating around somewhere around here. I've never worn it. But, you know, I have it. And then it comes with, like, a plastic bag. It's like a lock bag. And, like, it's kind of cool. Like, you know, it's kind of cool to have that stuff. But that's, like, maybe, like, 90 maximum dollars.
Yeah. It's
Like, when it comes to, like, total value.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Rockstar to market their game.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what you're doing. Like, I feel like if you're going to charge $120 upwards to like $150, the swag that you get for some of that stuff,
Swag.
it should be actually close to the value of what you're paying.
It shouldn't
for
be something that it's made in China.
You're paying a standard $60, which is what the value of most of these big games cost.
Yeah,
and you expect to pay
American.
that. I don't expect to spend $60 more on stuff that I can go to the store and buy for a combined total of probably $25.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just...
Now, let me ask you something. What if the deluxe edition item was something that was practical? Something that could act as a peripheral to the game that you're currently playing.
Like a keg koozie?
Like a Pit
Like
Boy.
Fallout.
Like a
Yeah,
Pit
like
Boy?
a Pit Boy?
The Pit
Yeah.
Boy thing? Yeah, we talked about that.
That's different, though, because you could actually get use out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
The,
actually
the stuff that a lot of these games give you is completely... Like, you pay an extra $40 and you get a little figurine of Link or something when you pre-order the next Zelda, you know? It's like, cool, I'm going to set that on my computer desk. Someday it's going to be in the drawer of my computer desk. Someday it's going to be in the trash can.
I think one of my best like deluxe edition things that I got was I didn't get the super because there was a limited run of like the duper super duper deluxe edition of Gears 3 where you actually got your own replica Lancer that made the chainsaw noise when you pulled the trigger. I didn't opt for that one. That one was like $300. Right, I'm not that crazy of a Gears.
That was
of
at
War
least
fan.
a life-size kind of...
Oh yeah, no,
like, it was cool.
It was
that
cool.
one at
I've
least.
seen one. And
$300.
yeah, but it's $300. Well, you get the video game too, so it's a $240 Lancer. But you also got everything else that came with the limited edition, right? The deluxe edition. The standard version that I got, that was like the $120 one, came with one of those Todd McFarlane designed statues that's made out of basically like epoxy.
And it's large.
It's very nice. Yeah, it's a big Marcus Phoenix coming out of a rock kind of statue. You've seen it before in my room.
Yeah.
Where he's like praying on the butt of his Lancer. And then it also came with like a COG flag, a Locust flag that you could hang up, and a flag being like the size of a standard sheet of notebook paper.
I was
The
hoping
silver
for something
cog?
like that.
Oh no way! No, it wasn't that big. It all had to fit in this because it came in a box.
That's an abnormal sized flag. Though,
Yeah.
Chris.
But
That's the kind of flag.
it also shipped
Yeah.
with like a book, but the actual copy of the game, the case for the game, was unique, in that it came in like this nice kind of velvet wrapped
Is it like a Crown Royal bottle?
clamshell. No, but it has some texture to it, and then on the front was an actual cog, like the cog tag.
That'd be cool.
Like a life-size version of that, which was massive. The thing was like this big, and it's made out of
I would like
solid.
to turn the cog and open it up.
Yeah, it was
that
made
way.
out of like solid billet aluminum. It had some weight to it. It was very nice. And then inside was my copy of the game. So as far as my experience with those deluxe editions, that one to me was worth it because of the stuff that I got with it. But some of these other ones that I see where it's like, here's some extra in-game currency, or you know,
What was that one I showed you at Fat Edge? Oh,
the Dead Rising.
No, well, Dead Rising one was
That one was cool.
It was cool. It's just one of those things where
I mean,
unless
they're
you're
all a
like
little bit cool, right?
unless you're agoraphobe, there is
Yeah.
literally no room for it at your house. Like I would never present that on a table or
And
something.
what,
you know,
what
like,
we're talking about is that you could get a
severed-
zombie torso
yeah,
with no arms and head.
and obviously nothing from the waist down. Either.
Yeah, but just as
and
bloody.
just bloody as
Yeah.
fuck. But no, I was thinking Street Fighter gave you a set of finger puppets.
Yeah.
Of their
Little
of their
shitty
characters,
Jesus
like little
Christ.
25-cent finger puppets.
And I guarantee you, they probably charged an extra $25 or something
Yeah.
stupid
I think-
for finger puppets. Like the GTA ones, they do give you a lot of stuff, and some of them, I mean, you could use them in your everyday life. I mean, I could wear that hat, I could wear that shirt. I
Yeah.
could use that little zipper bag. GTA 4 gave you a lockbox.
What if it was like
I've
a
used that for
coupon to
stuff.
whatever tattoo parlor you went to, and you could get the Los Santos tattoo across your midsection?
If only it's the Los Santos tattoo. Nah, man, I'd put that over my back, just
Yeah,
like
do it on the
gangster.
But I think in reality, if you're getting deluxe, super legendary, just whatever version of the game, that the value of what you buy, right, should be either at cost. I can maybe see a 10% or so markup being justified, but I think it's kind of categorically wrong to have like a 300% markup on an item that essentially serves for you to market their game and their deluxe edition.
Yeah.
How many people have the, like suppose you do have some cool, like we call it swag from a deluxe edition, inspire somebody else to buy a deluxe edition, is like you're kind of helping them do their job. So I don't think that they should charge you an insane amount for it. It's just, I think, a reasonable thing.
Yeah.
Well, to
You
me, it
help-
is what it is. Like
Yeah.
these bonuses are,
Well, and
they're just to trick you into buying stuff
Yeah.
sometimes, where it's
Yeah.
like, well,
It's like
I
an
wasn't
inf-
going to
it's like
get
the
Halo
infomercials
5,
of the
but
gaming
God,
industry.
that statue that comes with it looks really cool, and I really want that statue of Master Chief, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it now.
yeah. Well, and a lot of people that buy these collector's editions and deluxe editions, legendary, whatever they call it for that specific game. Like I know I bought GTA 5, and there wasn't any extra bonus content other than the blimp, which that was guaranteed with the collector's editions, and you could have gotten that with any edition, not just the legendary one. You
all
also
the
got it with the
tiers.
collectors.
Yep.
So, and you got it pre-order just for the regular game. So that there was no content. There was no. It didn't improve the game to pre-order GTA. But I know for GTA 4 and GTA 5, I've pre-ordered both of them just for the swag that comes with it, and mainly just to say,
I got
to an
swag.
extent, that I got it. Like to walk out of that GameStop and everyone's walking out with the
Oh, you
case,
got
and I
the
got the
big
fucking
box?
box.
Yeah,
you
dude.
know, like most people that spend that money to pre-order that much money on one video game are probably going to do it whether or not the swag is that good. Just
Well,
to
yeah.
say that they did it.
Well, and I did it I've only done that for 2 games. That was
I've
Halo
never done
Reach and
I've
Gears.
done it a lot.
Gears 3, right? I did it with both of those at the time where I had extra money to spend, and they were franchises that I love, and I followed, and I've played every single iteration of. So for me, it was like kind of just saying, like, I want this item, this memorabilia, this statue to decorate my domicile with, to show my support for those franchises. And when
My
people
bro
come in
cave.
and they see it, they go, "Oh, you play Gears," or "Oh, you play Halo." I'm like, yeah.
You got your bro cave, you got your flags with the
oh,
bloody
dude,
cog
I'm
and
all
stuff.
I'm all caved up now.
See, I would do that.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
if I had a bro cave, I would have like a
people
flag
know
of
I
the-
drink
the-
Jägermeister.
yeah,
I mean, it
right.
just
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of fun with Jägermeister. Just some really fun, and also not remembering of the fun. I think a lot of that.
A lot of fun you don't remember.
Yeah, the great inducer of blackouts, the Jaeger.
Okay. Well, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we end the show this week? Any other last
So
tidbits? Any more stuff? Any more like penis related stories that you had to bring up at the last minute?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think we covered.
There
all
is
the,
a distinctive lack of penises in Ark.
That's true.
Do
You
we-
start off with boxers, guys.
Oh,
This is
yeah,
a great
that's
tragedy.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no penises in Ark. Sorry, guys, if you were looking
yeah.
for a penis
It's not going to get
update.
an AO rating because there's no penis.
We'll have the triple C segment with Chris's cock corner.
No dinosaurs have penises either.
Yeah,
don't-
I noticed that. There's no
The
genitals on
last
the
5 minutes of
dinosaurs.
every show.
Doesn't make any sense.
They
How
tr-
do they have mate bonuses?
they have made
but no
bonuses,
geni-
but they
Yeah.
can't mate.
How are you supposed to sex a dinosaur if it
I don't
has
know.
no
Yeah,
genitals?
and see, we don't know. That would actually be helpful in the game. because
Patch notes.
right, because I want
For someone like Chris who only wants female dinosaurs, it would be really nice to
Dinosaurs
see
now have
a
definable
big
genitalia.
Triceratops genitals hanging down.
Right,
You're like,
or,
well,
yeah.
obviously, I don't want to bother knocking out that dinosaur.
I don't know if like Triceratops had like teats like dogs or something, but that you wouldn't even have to put like a dino vagina.
I don't think reptiles make milk, right?
Yeah,
No,
I guess they
come
don't.
from eggs.
Not technically all. Are all animals
They just come out
dinosaurs?
eating.
Were they all considered dinosaurs? Because technically,
dinosaurs have
a woolly
penises?
mammoth was a mammal.
Yeah,
but
that would have had teeth.
It's also in the. It was around while dinosaurs are around. So is it considered a dinosaur, or is it just considered a mammal that lived
well,
back then?
dinosaur literally means large lizard, right?
I think so.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So-
so
It's just
no,
like
it would
that
not be a
turtle,
dinosaur.
The Carbonellus
So it'd not be a
means
dinosaur
coal turtle.
then.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
like thunder lizard or something like that. I don't know.
Sean, in your expert medical opinion, do dinosaurs do
Expert.
they have like penises and vaginas and stuff? Is
They
that
have
how
sex
work?
organs. They're usually located internally, though. You can watch a video on YouTube, YouTube sexing crocodile, and you'll probably get a good idea of how dinosaurs' sex
I'm
organs
afraid
work.
what I'll
They lay
find-
eggs.
Now, literally, sexing is the verb for determining the sex of a reptile, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you sex a alligator, or a crocodile, or a turtle, or whatever, it generally does require some internal workings. Yeah.
Okay, well, so it kind of makes sense that there's not the because well, I guess the woolly mammoths would have their penises sticking out, but
In the situation of like the alligators and crocodiles, they both have just this slit in the general region, right?
yeah,
That internally the sex organs are located, whether it be a penis or a vagina. So
that's kind of weird. And do they work like docking clamps on a space station? I
don't know.
I don't.
I don't know. I'm not.
All right.
I don't know, but that's a different show altogether.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write the people that made Jurassic Park and ask them some important.
I wonder if they got
pertinent
that.
questions.
I wonder if they got that deep
I don't know.
into the reptiles, where like, well,
They're clearly.
I think eventually their whole thing was just like, fuck it, we're gonna make them all female to rationalize their stupid story of how they couldn't reproduce and
Oh yeah, we could only reproduce the female
Yeah,
chromosomes
yeah.
or whatever, something like that.
yeah. But anyways, that's derailing a bit.
Well, you asked if we wanted to talk about.
I know, but I wasn't talking about sexing
Penises.
crocodiles and stuff like that. I didn't think it was gonna go that far.
Huh?
Okay.
Come on.
End it now.
I guess I
End it
left
before
myself
it goes
open
too
for
far.
that. All right, so that's all for this week's show. This has been the Route 9's Productions
What would happen if we sexed the Bruce Jenner raptor?
podcast number 5. For this week, this has been Sean, joined by.
Tyler.
Chris.
And Brad.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Later.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.